To truly understand the spirit of the American doughboy, one must look beyond the strategic maps of the Western Front and into the hearts of the 2 million men who crossed the Atlantic into a meat grinder of modern industrial warfare that the world had never seen before. When the United States finally entered the Great War in 1917, its soldiers were often viewed by battle-hardened Europeans as idealistic amateurs, yet they arrived with a ferocious energy and a brand of raw courage that would eventually break the 4-year stalemate. The grit of the American soldier was perhaps first solidified in the popular imagination at the Battle of Belleau Wood in June 1918, where U.S. Marines faced a relentless German onslaught with such tenacity that the enemy famously nicknamed them Teufelhunden, or devil dogs. It was here that legendary figures like Gunnery Sergeant Dan Daly, a 2-time Medal of Honor recipient, allegedly rallied his pinned-down men with the immortal cry, "Come on, you sons of bitches, do you want to live forever?" A moment that epitomized the defiant bravery that defined the American Expeditionary Forces. But valor wasn't reserved for the famous. It was found in the mud of the Meuse-Argonne Offensive, the largest and deadliest operation in American military history, where over 1.2 million soldiers fought through dense forests and fortified hills. In these woods, we find the incredible story of Alvin York, a humble blacksmith and conscientious objector who, after his unit was decimated by machine gun fire, single-handedly silenced an entire nest, killing 28 enemy soldiers and capturing 132 others. His actions, while extraordinary, mirrored the silent resolve of millions who endured the psychological torture of trench warfare, the terrifying hiss of mustard gas, and the constant threat of shell shock. The bravery of the American soldier also transcended the deep-seated prejudices of the era, seen most clearly in the Harlem Hellfighters of the 369th Infantry Regiment, who spent more time in continuous combat than almost any other American unit, never losing a foot of ground or a single soldier to capture, despite being forced to fight under French command because of the segregation policies of their own nation. We must also recognize the Lost Battalion, where Major Charles Whittlesey and his men were surrounded in the Argonne forest for 6 days without food or water, refusing to surrender even when American artillery accidentally began falling on their own position. Their survival was only possible through the sheer will of the soldiers and the unlikely heroism of Cher Ami, a homing pigeon who delivered a desperate message despite being shot through the chest and losing a leg. Even in the skies, pilots like Frank Luke Jr., the Arizona balloon buster, displayed a reckless disregard for their own safety, repeatedly diving into intense anti-aircraft fire to take down German observation balloons until his final defiant stand on the ground. This legacy of bravery is woven into the very fabric of the American identity, representing a transition from a young, isolated nation to a global power forged in the fires of sacrifice. While these accounts of heroism are well documented in military archives, historical details regarding individual citations can sometimes vary across different sources, and for specific veteran records, one should consult the National Archives or official military historians. And that's something worth remembering when you next consider the cost of freedom and the extraordinary heights of the human spirit under the most harrowing conditions imaginable.